Hey guys, it's Luke from Uploaded here, bringing you another game review. This time I'll be reviewing Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, a game that has received huge hype all year long, and it possibly is one of the most anticipated games in 2014. Why don't we find out whether the hype is real, or whether the game just doesn't live up to expectations. Let's begin with the basics, the graphics. The first thing you see when you launch the game is the menu, and let me tell you, this is easily one of the best menu designs I have ever seen. The entire menu feels clean and colourful, and everything is clear to see, and very stylish. This menu goes down as the nicest menu I've ever seen in any video game ever. The crisp and colourful buttons really makes the menu pop and stand out at you. Now let's dive into the actual game. The graphics are very consistent and fit the mood of Smash Bros very well. The frame rate remains at a constant 60 frames per second, and the character models all tie into the overall feel of Smash Bros very well. Even characters such as Shulk seem to fit in perfectly, despite being from more realistic looking games. There are some very nice special effects, such as the differently coloured trails that are dependent on player number when a character is launched. My only downside here is that some characters feel slightly too small on certain maps, with Gower Plains standing out to me. For me, larger maps make the characters feel too small, and it can be easy to lose where you are. Aside from this downfall, the graphics get a very strong 19 out of 20 overall. They tie together very nicely, and are all in all a very bright and colourful scheme, which fits the mood of Smash Bros to a T. Next, we'll move on to audio, and boy, this is a field worth writing home about. The audio team did a fantastic job of remastering old Nintendo tunes, and every song not only fits with the mood well, but applies a modern twist to an old classic, without taking too much away from the original. One huge feature is that you can now change the probability with which a particular song plays on certain stages. For example, you can give Ricco Harbor a higher chance of playing on Delfino Plaza than the actual Delfino Plaza theme. I feel as though this addition was a stroke of genius, and it really adds to the game. You can also change the menu theme's probability of playing, and this gives way to one of my favourite features of this game. The menu themes from both Brawl and Melee are both options in the sound settings, so you can make the probability of these themes playing on the menu whatever you please. Die hard Melee fan? Make it so that the Melee theme plays 100% of the time, with no other options for the menu theme. Honestly, Nintendo did a great job of putting in throwbacky tunes and remixing old favourites. The Ice Climbers will live on in their theme, which is an option for the Wrecking Crew stage. They may no longer be in the game, but their theme carries the torch for them. Overall, the audio from this game is fantastic, and I honestly couldn't find any downfalls at all. There are a huge amount of songs, and the probability picker is a great new feature. Overall, audio gets a 20 out of 20 for me, which is the first time a game has gotten top marks for any section on this channel, and it definitely deserves the honour. Now, with the aesthetics out of the way, it's time to look at the actual gameplay. As with all Smash games, the game feels very fluid and fast-paced, and controls very well. As per, there is a huge variety of maps and characters to choose from, with some old maps returning alongside a great amount of new maps. The balance between old maps and new maps is perfect, and this game, despite the lack of Ice Climbers, Lucas and Solid Snake, has the best roster to date. With Mewtwo returning as DLC next year, this roster is very strong, especially with the inclusion of third-party characters such as Shulk, Mega Man and Pac-Man. There are also a ton of unlockables, such as songs, characters, maps and more. Trophies return, and there are more than ever. Good luck collecting all of them. There is a lot to do with many new game modes being added. Smash Tour takes you on a board game-esque challenge, which is the Wii U equivalent of the 3DS's Smash Run. Challenge mode returns, bringing a wealth of unlockables to the table. There is also an all-star mode, which lets you fight every fighter from the time period they were first debuted, and an awesome and very hard game mode, which I personally found great fun. Classic mode returns with some changes, which makes the mode much more challenging. The difficulty meter is now much higher in Classic mode, letting you pay extra coins for a bigger challenge. As usual, Smash Bros excels in multiplayer, and there's a huge amount of replayability here. I played local multiplayer with my brother here, and we had a lot of fun. Here he proceeds to kill himself multiple times on the Yoshi Woolly World stage, and he never managed to kill me once. Rest assured, raging and laughing ensued from both parties, and we ended up playing for a good 3 hours. There is a huge downfall, however. that in my opinion lets the game down. There is no story mode. The subspace emissary from Brawl was one of my favourite things, and it really made the single player much more exciting. Without this mode, the single player does suffer. However, there is online multiplayer, which does sort of make up for it slightly. While it does get a little boring playing against AI for 2 hours, if you have an internet connection or friends, you'll find it hard to get bored too easily. Overall, this section gets an 18 out of 20. It's great fun with friends, but the lack of a story mode docks it a few points. A great score nonetheless, and with this we move on to the final conclusion. Overall, this game gets a 57 out of 60, which is an incredible score. The game has great graphics with one of the best menu designs from any game ever, as well as top-notch soundtrack and quality gameplay. Overall, I really enjoyed this game, and if you are thinking about purchasing a Wii U, combined with other games that have already been released, this game should really tip you over the edge. I hope you've enjoyed this review and found it informative. Please remember that this is my opinion, and if you have a different opinion, I implore you to share it in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear opposing views, or maybe you agree with what I said. Either way, if you have something to say, let your voice be heard and post it in the comments. It won't fall on deaf ears. I have gone back to the original review style, and while the laid-back notes-based style was nice, I think I personally prefer this scripted style. Did you prefer the laid-back style? Let me know. Apart from that, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been Luke from Uploaded, and I'll see you next time.